Good evening. It's the news thousands have been waiting for. WA will reopen to the eastern states in time for Christmas. But it was a surprise to travellers who'd landed after the announcement. They'll now have to quarantine beyond next week.
An island within an island, WA's hard border credited with keeping us safe, but also keeping families apart.
Past 9 months has not been easy. I know the border arrangements have put pressure on families and have at times been hard to comprehend.
Today, an early gift ahead of Christmas.
I look forward to Western Australians being able to see friends and family from New South Wales and Victoria under our controlled border regime.
From next Tuesday, travellers from Victoria and New South Wales will join thousands of others from Queensland, Tasmania, the ACT and Northern Territory. No longer forced into quarantine on arriving in Western Australia. Victoria has now gone 32 days without a community COVID case. New South Wales is yet to reach the 28-day benchmark.
They've now gone 25 days, I think it is, without a single community case, so we're not expecting one. If one comes up, we'll make that decision then.
The announcement a shock to Perth-bound Melburnians, who learnt they're expected to complete quarantine, even though it'll last beyond next Tuesday.
Exactly, gutted. Yeah, and we have to do the whole 14 days too, apparently.
Devastated. I haven't seen my family in a year.
You know, I understand that's how it goes, but yeah, it's a bit sad.
The Premier, unapologetic.
I understand there will be inconvenience for some people, but we're doing everything we can to keep Western Australia safe and keep COVID out of our state.
Doctors warn WA's complacency now puts us at a greater risk of another outbreak.
We have become more complacent than most other states because we've just felt so safe. Really important to keep your distance from other people, to remember all these behaviours that we've been practising for so many months.
The virus is still very much amongst us, and we have to continue to make sure we have all the measures in place to ensure we keep everyone safe.
Alexandra Ristway for 10 News First.
The relaxed border has been welcomed by WA tourism operators who are hoping it'll bring a holiday boost to struggling businesses. Jess Brown is live for us at Perth Airport tonight. Jess, it'll be a very different scene there this time next week.
That's right, Narelda. Perth Airport has been somewhat of a ghost town over the past 9 months, with only a trickle of exempt passengers allowed through. But that's all about to change, with Qantas and Virgin today announcing a significant boost in services from Sydney and Melbourne after that December 8 reopening. Of course, that influx of passengers is welcome news from our tourism and hospitality sectors, who've really been hardest hit by this pandemic. The news so many struggling businesses have been waiting for. WA finally opening to its biggest markets, New South Wales and Victoria.
This gives the industry the certainty it needs. We can now schedule flights, take holiday bookings, recruit interstate workers and secure events.
CBD hotels, bus and coach businesses and tour operators expected to benefit the most, and a much needed increase in corporate travellers.
We've gone without visitation from the business community now for nearly 10 months.
But first, they'll have to get here, with many fares still more than $1,000 one way. From December 14, Qantas and Jetstar will increase flights into Perth from Sydney and Melbourne from 5 services a week to 5 every day, as well as 65 additional services from Perth to the East Coast. Virgin Australia will gradually increase from around 7 services a week to 30 by early January, promising fares from $239 one way.
What we really must do now is we need to see a big investment from the state government in securing discount interstate and regional airfares.
Even though thousands of people are now expected to join their loved ones in the West for Christmas, there still will be restrictions, with pubs, clubs and restaurants still operating at reduced capacity in line with the 2 square metre rule.
If there's no community spread and there's no risk, then we'd certainly like that to be reviewed with a view to there being greater capacity available.
But the medical experts are cautious.
The AMA supports leaving a 2 square metre rule in place in the long term until we're out of the COVID pandemic.
In the meantime, businesses say they're ready for contact tracing should there be an outbreak with the new Safe WA app.
Hospitality venues across the state have had literally 2 weeks to get that system in place, and we think it'll be very effective.
But in the wake of South Australia's outbreak, the business community says the government needs greater tolerance should another outbreak occur.
It's not ideal that we'd be switching the border on and off because those businesses need some clarity around how to manage their operations.
Jessica Brown for 10 News First.